Pero ito nga, ito binabay ko sa inyo, this is a tunnel warfare. Napakaraming tunnel guys, ano? Di ba ito yung civilian sa ibabaw. Sa pangalawa, nandun yung tunnel for the what we call as the civilians. May tunnel din para dun sa mga Hamas. Nandun sila sa pinaka lower level. Actually, yung pinakamalalim na tunnel na ginawa ng mga Hamas ay umaabot ng lalim na 70 metro. 70. Napakalalim. No? Ang pinakamalalim sa New York, sa USA, ang pinakamalalim na lokasyon ng subway train sa New York ay umaabot lamang ng 53 meters. Pinakamalalim na subway train sa New York, no, USA. Pero ang Hamas sa Gaza Strip ay tayo, no? Nakapaghukay sa lalim ng 70 metro pailalim. So, di ba na lang kung bobombahin kasi ito ng Israel, kung yung kanilang missile ay magbobore muna ng napakalalim sa sasabog. Kaso hindi eh. Actually, pag ang missile ay sumalpok sa surface, sasabog na yun doon. So, ligtas yung mga demonyo na yun, ano? Okay, let's continue this.
The attack. They brutally murdered civilians in their beds. They drove pickup trucks with machine guns. Yes.
Actually, guys, no? 40 plus 40 sanggol, no? Baby. 40 sanggol o pataas pa. Ang ginawa ng mga Hamas, ginilitan ng leeg at pinutulan ng leeg yung mga sanggol. No? Isipin niyo 'yun. No? Meron silang mga ginahasa. Meron silang sinunog ng buhay. Meron silang mga tinorture, itong mga Palestinian Hamas na to, no? Pakawalang iya. Continue natin to. Kaya wag kayong maaawa diyan, putya na yan. Kaya nga ako tuwan-tuwa pag binobomba yan dahil sila nagsimula ng gulo. Tatapusin ng Israel. Alright?
We all remember, just like ISIS and fired blindly at hundreds of young people at a concert. 300 were burned alive or butchered in that concert.
300?
Much of what remained were clumps of flesh and bloody limbs. Parents had to bring their children's toothbrushes for DNA so they could figure out whose limb belonged to who. These Hamas monsters raped women and children, parading naked girls that they raped and bodies that they defiled through the streets of Gaza, while thousands, and I'm telling you, thousands, you can see the footage, jeered and cheered. The savages tortured small babies. Just like the Nazis, Hamas terrorists removed infants from their cribs. Yes, we have it on video. Swung them repeatedly against the ground until their skulls became a pulp. Children were murdered in front of their parents, and parents in front of their children. I've seen a video of a terrorist filmed by himself, who tossed a grenade into a bomb shelter with a father and his two young boys inside. The father was killed instantly, and the two boys ran out of the shelter screaming that their father is dead and that they want to be dead too.
Kita niyo yung mga kawalang yan ng Hamas?
All this is occurring, believe it or not, as the monster who murdered their father calmly helps himself to the contents of the family's fridge. Yes. No horror movie compares to the pure brutality that Hamas carried out. No, none. Amit Man, a
Pakawalang yan ng mga Hamas.
22-year-old from Kibbutz Be'eri, and a paramedic for Magen David Adom, Israel's Red Cross. She dedicated her life, literally, and you will understand why, to saving others. When the Hamas monsters invaded the kibbutz, Amit ran to the clinic to treat as many wounded as she could. For hours, Amit worked non-stop trying to save lives.
That's Amit.
She knew the sadistic terrorists were outside her clinic because she heard the gunfire. But
Okay.
she stayed there. She was committed to saving lives, not running away. Finally, the terrorist burst into her clinic
Nako.
and put a bullet through her brain.
Shit.
She was a Magen David Adom paramedic, the Israeli Red Cross, in uniform. But that didn't stop these savages. This is how the rescue teams found Amit.
My God. Napakawalang yan ng mga Hamas, diba? Kaya dapat dyan, pagpapatay na rin. Huwag na, wala nang bubuhayin dyan, guys. Wala nang bubuhayin sa Hamas. Mga Palestinian Hamas na yan. Mga Palestino rin kasi yung Hamas na yan. Ayan. Kanya.
Ambulances were set on fire. Not one, many. Dozens of Magen David Adom medical teams were intentionally targeted on their way to tend to the wounded. And many other paramedics were murdered. Barzilai Hospital in my hometown city, Ashkelon, in Israel, suffered direct hits from Hamas rockets. Not for the first time. Hamas has been deliberately firing rockets at it for years, intentionally. Yet, not a single condemnation of this barbarity has been mentioned here. Not here, not by the Security Council, not by the Secretary General, and not by this absurd resolution. It seems that hospitals and medical teams only need to be protected as long as they are not Israeli. The hypocrisy is beyond belief, beyond belief. The brutal ISIS-like monsters abducted over 220 hostages from Israel and dozens of other countries, including babies, children, persons with disabilities, the elderly, and Holocaust survivors. Kfir Bibas is 9 months old. 9 months old, and he's being held right now in Gaza as a hostage. 9 months old.
9 months old?
What
Puta.
barbaric terrorist can do such a thing? And
Bilhin nyo guys, 9 months old, ginawang hostage. 9 na buwan. Napakawalang yan ng mga hayop na to, ng mga Hamas. Palestinian Hamas. Napakawalang yan ng mga Arabo na to.
together with him, 30 other children. 30 other children. We saw Hamas's brutality in Israel. I cannot begin to fathom what horrors the hostages are enduring right now, as we speak here.
Correct.
20 days have gone by, and Israel is still counting her dead. It took weeks to collect all of the bodies. Some bodies are burnt like pieces of coal. It is almost impossible to identify them. Countless burned bodies have been found with ash in their throats, meaning they were still alive when lit on fire, intentionally, by the Hamas terrorists.
Sinunog
A
ng
clump
buhay.
of charred human remains that was burned beyond recognition was found. At first, the medical personnel couldn't figure out what they were looking at. Yet, after a CT scan, it became clear that they were two spines, not one, two spines bound together with wire. One belonging to an adult, and the other, the small spine, of a child. So just try to imagine
Sinunog, guys.
that parents feeling as they and their child were burning alive.
Silang dalawa.
Burning alive. The painful
Mag-ina
screaming
o
of the love
mag-ama.
of their life was the last thing they heard. The last thing.
Sinunog ng
Do
buhay.
you not think it's unbelievable that this resolution here today and this session are not solely focused on
Grabe.
Hamas's atrocities?
Tinali sa...
When reading this resolution,
Pinalambre.
Hamas seems to be missing in action. The drafters of the resolution claim to be concerned about peace, yet the depraved murderers who initiated this war are not even mentioned in the resolution, not even mentioned. They see each one of you as puppet.
Correct.
They write a resolution completely devoid of any content related.
Diba? So, itong mga hayop na to, no, Iran, Russia, no, gumagawa sila ng resolution in which parang yung kayang-kaya nilang mauto yung mga bansa, no? Inuuto nila yung mga bansa, no? Yung mukha niya magkakampi diyan, ano? China, Russia, no, Iran. Gumagawa sila ng resolution. Ang gumawa kasi ng resolution diyan yung Russia at saka itong Iran. And later on, they were rejected because, guys, no, hindi mo dapat kampihan yung kakampi ni Satanas. Ang mga bansang ito ay, what they call that, ay sinasapian ni Satanas. Yung bansa ng Russia, Iran, Turkey, Qatar, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria, no? And even Cyprus, no? And even Cyprus, no? Yung mga bansa niya. At marami pang iba, no? Nalilitaw na kalaban ng Israel diyan. Huwag kayong magkakamali ng kakampihan. Dapat ang kampihan ninyo ay ang bayan ng Diyos, ang Israel. Dahil sa huling mga panahon, sigurado lahat ng kalaban ng bansang Israel tutupukin ng Diyos Ama.
To the situation, they assume that you have already forgotten who it is that is responsible for the inhumane violence, and they just expect you to support it automatically.
Yes.
This resolution is a disgrace to your intelligence, a disgrace. It is unfathomable that such
It's
a
a disgrace
resolution,
to
one
the
that
intelligence
doesn't
of those
even
countries,
mention
those leaders.
Hamas, could possibly be voted upon here. Let that sink in, please. Distinguished representatives, Hamas carried out atrocities, the likes of which we have not seen since the Holocaust. Yet, unlike the Holocaust, where the evidence we have is mostly black and white photographs and soundless footage, here the proof is in high definition. Because some of it is from, yes, security footage, but much of it is from the cell phones and GoPro cameras belonging to the Hamas Nazis themselves. Many may be asking, why did they film their sadistic violence? Well, I'll tell you why. Very simple. They filmed it in order to terrorize the Israeli public, to release these videos and put fear in the hearts of the citizens of Israel. By the way, this is what terrorists do. They terrorize. I have seen much footage over the past weeks that will be seared into my mind forever. But there is one sight that I keep on seeing when I try to sleep. In the video, one can see a terrible injured civilian, bloodied yet alive, laying on the ground as a Hamas savage screaming, Allahu Akbar, repeatedly pummels the man's neck with a garden hoe in order to decapitate him. The man on the ground is an agricultural worker from Thailand. He's not Israeli, he's not Jewish.
Thailander, pinatay.
He was merely alive trying to make a living for his family.
Tangina.
But he was decapitated with a blunt gardening tool. Horrifying. Israel is not at war with human beings. We are at war with monsters.
They're monsters.
Here is the video.
Palestinian Hamas. They're monsters. The Thailander decapitated.
حتى سكينة.
Pinapatay yung Thailander, guys. Tang ina, matay. Binidyo.
My mission distributed and will continue to distribute QR codes with a direct link to files where you can see this horror and many
Tangina
other
to mga
Hamas
Muslim na to.
atrocities.
Tangina nyo mga Muslim.
What you see here are not pictures from Auschwitz, but Israelis raped,
Dapat mawala kayo sa mundo.
butchered, and burned alive. This is not Auschwitz. This is Hamas.
Grabe. Tangina to mga Muslim na to. Mga Arabo. Ganyan ba yung mga hayop na yung mga putang ina nyo? Ginilitan eh.
There are no words in the English language, in any language, to describe the evil that we all just witnessed. And the reason it is not describable is because it has no place among humankind.
Grabe.
Over 1,400 have been slaughtered, thousands
Tangina to mga Muslim
injured,
na to.
and over 220 hostages are being held right now by Hamas ISIS terrorists.
Mga terorista tong
To
Muslim.
say that this is Israel's 9/11 would be an understatement. Proportionally, the death toll of this atrocity is 15 times bigger than 9/11. By the way,
Pero
our
ginilitan
enemies
yung
are not
Thailander.
7,000 miles away, they are 7,000
Tatrabaho
feet
para sa
away in our
pamilya niya.
own backyard. So for this reason, Israel's mission is to eradicate this evil from the
Eliminate
earth.
the
Eradicate.
Palestinians.
ISIS was the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and Hamas is the Islamic State of Gaza. So just as was done with ISIS, Hamas must be no more.
Correct.
Our goal is to completely eradicate Hamas's capabilities, and we will use every means at our disposal to accomplish this. Not for revenge,
Eliminate
no.
the Palestine.
Not for retaliation, no. But to ensure that such depravity, such atrocities never occurs again. Israel is at the forefront of the war on radical jihadist terror. And if Israel doesn't succeed in obliterating Hamas's terror capabilities, the whole world will pay the price.
Correct.
Hamas's genocidal ideology, just like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, or the Ayatollah regime in Tehran of Iran, is not just about destroying Israel. You all know it. It is
Genocidal
ultimately
ideology.
about
Genocidal
world
ideology.
domination. It is about bringing the jihad war to the soil of each and every one of your countries.
Yes.
They will not stop until they murder.
So yun, yun na nga yun. They bringing the jihad to the soil of other country. Ito na nga sa Pilipinas, di ba? Guys, diyan sa may parteng Mindanao, nung itong mga mautay na to ay i-siege yung Marawi, di ba? Mga Muslim din yan eh. No, mga Muslim. Bro nyo. Laging nagkakalat ng kaguluhan itong mga Muslim na to. No? Gusto nilang magtayo ng kalipate rito, ng caliphate dito sa Pilipinas. Na hindi maaari, di natodas kayo ni Tatay Digong, di ba? Sapul kayo lahat sa ulo. Yung mga maute na yan. Hindi kayo magtatagumpay, mga masasamang tao kayo.
All of the infidels, as they call us. Colleagues, for the past 16 years, the international community and the UN have been complacent to Hamas's terror buildup in Gaza. Complacent. The world has kept its head in the sand as Hamas embedded its missiles and rockets deep within and under the civilian population of Gaza.
Correct.
It accepted an absurd reality that a law-abiding democracy could live side by side with cancerous genocidal terrorists that fire tens of thousands of missiles indiscriminately at our civilians, unprovoked. We have seen that nothing can change Hamas's genocidal ideology. Sadly, not the rehabilitation of Gaza, not economic incentives, not any promise of a brighter future. The UN tried. Many of you tried. But everyone failed. Everyone failed. And you know why? Because nothing can change a genocidal ideology.
Yes,
nothing.
genocidal
There's only
ideology.
one solution to curing a cancer.
Eliminate them all.
It is the evisceration of every cancerous cell. The international community has poured billions of dollars into Gaza. And it all went to Hamas's war machine. It went to its subterranean city of terror. It went to its missile manufacturing facilities. And you remember, 18 years ago, Israel unilaterally withdrew from all of Gaza. We withdrew from all of Gaza.
Yes.
Hamas could have invested the international funding it received into building power plants, water desalination plants, every other civil infrastructure. But no. Instead, Hamas exploited every inch of the Gaza Strip for their violent goals.
Correct.
Because to Hamas, Gazan civilians are nothing more than mere cannon fodder. Human shields who in death become pawns for Hamas's libelous propaganda campaign. Hamas is counting on you. They are certain that despite the terror and massacre, the UN will still come to their rescue and prevent Israel from defending itself. Friends, Israel is on a rescue mission. A rescue mission to save our hostages, to save our future, and to save the people of Gaza from their savage tyrants. A rescue
Correct.
mission. And colleagues, the rescue mission can end quickly. Now, it can end now. No need for complicated, empty resolutions. It can end now. Should Hamas put down their arms, return our hostages, and turn themselves in, this war will end without one more shot being fired. Not even one. Why do you not unite and call on Hamas to do this?
Correct.
If the drafters of this resolution truly want peace, if they truly want an immediate solution, then why do they not demand this of Hamas? Instead, this resolution does the exact opposite of finding a solution. The exact opposite. Rather than promoting peace, it only ensures more.
Kasi guys, actually dito no na yung United Nations kasi because of its weak leader, ayun si Guterres, si Antonio Guterres, because of the weak leadership in the United Nations, no, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, a very weak leader, a Portuguese leader, a very weak, no. So yung ibang bansa naaakit para gumawa ng mga resolution which is against Israel. Pero sa katunayan, dapat gumagawa ang UN ng resolution, no, to eradicate Hamas, terrorist organization. No, dapat yan ang ginagawa ng United Nations. Dapat nga itong si Antonio Guterres, dapat gumawa siya ng paraan para ibagsak ang Hamas. Kasi yung Hamas ang gumagawa ng ng problema. So tignan niyo sa sinabi ni GILAD Erdan na pinakawalan na nila, binigay na ng Israel yung Gaza sa Palestine, no? Pero lahat ng mga pera ng kanilang naiipon at nagiging pondo, hindi nila ginagamit para sa Gaza, sa pagpapaunlad ng Gaza, kundi sa pagpapaunlad, no, ng kanilang mga machinery and equipment para sa digmaan, missile, rockets, ammunitions, yun ang ginagawa ng mga Hamas. Right? So, yun ang naging sanhi. Kaya, maraming mamamatay talaga sa Palestine, sa Gaza.
Violence. It should be called uniting for terror, not uniting for peace. Israel has been attacked and continues to be attacked. This is a fact right now. in the south from Hamas and in the north from Hezbollah. Meanwhile, the resolution calls for an immediate ceasefire. A ceasefire means giving Hamas time to rearm itself so they can massacre us